Hello, the channel. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're all looking forward to the weekend. Hope you're all enjoying Sorare 2026, or Sorare 26 as the tagline's going. It's been good fun so far, obviously. Hit the ground running the first weekend as well, but lots of fun stuff happening. It just sort of caught my eye there as well. I think Jordan Pickford's unique went for about 11,000 or something tonight. So I must admit, people are definitely getting behind the hype, spending a bit of money. Not everybody's spending £11,000, but yeah, it's good to see some big sales and a bit of hype about the platform. So, format for the video tonight, I'm going to do the weekend preview, obviously association with probabilities. I'm going to look through the best fixtures. I'm going to have a look at the Celtic fixture, and then I haven't picked any teams yet. The lineup on screens for midweek, so I think we'll have a look at some streak stuff, see if we can get the next one. And the JPL have managed to basically cover off the first two. And yeah, $50 for the next one for 400 is not too bad at all. So that's the general plan. So firstly, moving on to the weekend preview. So again, this is a spreadsheet from Sorare Probabilities as a paid service, but a gal does a free trial, etc. S_probabilities on Twitter. I've put the link in the channel as well if anybody wants to go on and have a look. I don't like this already. Rangers the best fixture? What? Funnily enough, I actually picked up Antman 1 out of 100 rare. Really looks like quite a good player. I knew him obviously from last year from Eredivisie. Really good signing for Rangers. I actually done the complete dirty and watched one of their games last night. So I watched a game against Pilsen, and him and Gassama were pretty good, I must admit. One note of caution, I think, for Rangers stackers, etc., is that obviously Tavernier was dropped. Rangers played a lot better. Maybe I'll come in against Dundee, I don't know. But it looks like Joe Rothwell's on corners and things as well. So if you're wondering why Tavernier's price has dropped a bit, that explains it. We've got the Eredivisie back, so obviously Rangers see expected team goals, quite a high clean sheet percentage. Not 100% sure, but I mean, well, obviously because 55%. But got a manager who likes to play out from the back and play attacking stuff. Ajax against Telstar, so 2.92 expected goals, 53% clean sheet percentage. I'll not be involved in the Eredivisie for now anyway. Obviously, you just can't play like every single league, but something we might get involved in later on. Feyenoord against NAC, 2.8 expected team goals. I think Feyenoord was signed quite well, actually. Watanabe, but I think it was signed at the back. Some other signings coming in. Goalkeeper situation is a bit of a pain in the backside. I mean, like obviously Bijlo does appear to be the number one, but yeah, he's always injured. PSV going to be a really interesting season for them. So they've lost Oliver Biscaglia obviously to Brighton. Some other big outgoings there. Malik Tillman's left. They have brought in some good players as well. So I think like Alassane Plea will be pretty good there. If he starts quickly, then I can see his card going up a bit as well. But again, it's not going to be covering much of the Eredivisie. I think once we go through this, see the best fixtures, we'll have a look at the JPL fixtures. We've got Shandong Luneng, who aren't really licensed at the moment. Again, Leicester, pretty good fixture. That'll be more of a sort of classic angle. On the championship stuff, it's actually going into Contender now. You can use one of those cards for streaks, etc., which is interesting. Just not if you're not really a Contender player. Dynamo Zagreb against NK Vukovar. I think Zagreb will be a bit better this season, just purely the basis can't get much worse. But they do have some interesting players who score pretty well on SO5. 61%, 62% clean sheet percentage is extremely high. So obviously NK Vukovar are not very good. We've got Midtjylland against Frederica. Midtjylland, interesting one. They've got midweek games at the moment. So with that, there's always a bit of added risk of rotation at the weekend. Killed me a wee bit at the weekend with Francolino de Jeu, who was the player of the month in that league. But they had a man sent off and then he didn't come off the bench. Bodo Glimt got some good players, but not currently licensed. Red Bull Salzburg, interesting one. I think they've made some good signings. Jakob Rasmussen, I think, will shore up a bit at the back. Kitano, it's a good signing. Bidstrup seems to be playing pretty well. So that's an interesting one. 2.34 XG, 52% clean sheet percentage. And I think with guys like Rasmussen in, they might actually have like more chance of getting some solid clean sheets. Celtic against Aberdeen. We'll come back to Celtic in terms of Sorare inside prediction in a wee minute. And I think once everything's all pulled through, those percentages should be on site as well. 2.33 XG, lower clean sheet percentage, but as an away game, obviously, so that takes into account the fact that we're playing at Aberdeen. Anything else sticking out here? Anderlecht obviously look like got a pretty good fixture in Belgium. We'll come back and we'll just filter to the JPL. Sporting against Casapia is an interesting one. 54% clean sheet percentage, 2.15 XG. I'm expecting a big season from Pedro Goncalves. I haven't really went in rare-wise. May well do that at some point, but I have picked up some limited stuff just so that hopefully if Celtic build up some sort of streaks or build up some challenger streaks, then we've got some good options there for the later streaks. Anything else stand out? Club Brugge we'll come back to. We're going to do a bit of a GPL there. We've got some MLS back as well. Messi's injured, so my interest levels in that have waned a wee bit. We've got Brøndby playing. Celtic actually linked with Clement Bischoff, which I don't really believe at the moment. I'd love Celtic to sign Clement Bischoff. That would be amazing. AZ are back, obviously. And we've got some Turkish League action as well, which is quite interesting. I'm quite glad I don't see Galatasaray, etc. way up the top, but it does look like Celtic Rangers are featuring up there heavily in terms of challenger. So that kind of makes sense as to why they were moved into that league, with Eredivisie getting their own league and the Jupiler League. So this one and clever things you can do with spreadsheet. If you want, you can filter it down. Obviously, we might do some EPL stuff when that's back as well. So best fixtures, Anderlecht against Zulte. Does look overall the best, quite high in terms of clean sheet. I mean, there's nothing outstanding clean sheet wise, right? Like, it's obviously a relatively open league, but 2.2 XG. Club Brugge against Cercle. I guess with Club Brugge, I mean, they're just playing away just now against Salzburg. I just check the latest score as I'm recording this. So 1-1-0. That's going to be a tough one in Rangers section. So Rangers, if they get through this, which, you know, obviously they're winning 3-0 against Pilsen, they play Salzburg or Club Brugge. Absolutely hope Club Brugge go mental. Anyway, that's another point. But 2xG, I mean, I think the point is, like, you just need to be careful in terms of rotations. So, yeah, we're having a look at the percentages and everything on site myself. USG or Union Saint-Gilloise. Away against Ghent, quite a difficult fixture. I mean, it was good. Pleased to see Adams Organ playing. That was good. We've got SCVV, Royal Antwerp there playing against Oud Leuven. I think Antwerp, pretty good fixture. I mean, Oud Leuven were absolutely hammered by USG, which is not really a big surprise, right? They're a pretty good team. Mechelen will be in good form, I think. Obviously, pretty good result against Bruges as well. Played really well. Genk, Standard Liège. I mean, Standard Liège are a kind of funny team. I think they're actually signing pretty well just now. They don't really seem to have that good a home record, which is interesting. So Genk are like 51% to win that game. Charleroi against La Louvière. Charleroi really not really hit any form as yet. I think it's been a difficult start. Obviously, they've had the European stuff rotating a wee bit. Stelios Andrews went missing. I thought that actually there wouldn't be much like truth in that rumour of him going to Poland. If he goes to Poland, they'll be quite surprised. I think that's an excellent signing for that league. Does look as if the rumours are a bit more concrete, so that might be a problem for my own gallery, but there we go. We'll filter to Challenger quickly, just because obviously that's where my main streaking is going to be done, and we're just about to talk about Celtic. So yes, I mean, obviously Galatasaray are above Celtic for this weekend, but I mean, Aberdeen away is one of the tougher fixtures in the SPFL. Galatasaray 2.34 expected team goals. There's no Benfica this weekend. I think their game's been postponed because of the Champions League stuff. But yeah, we'll have Pranksy playing everything in with his Galatasaray stuff. And no Benfica is probably good. Porto are there as well. 1.8 XG for team goals. And reasonable clean sheet percentage, 44%. So sorry, our inside predictions. I've moved over here, obviously, with the guys from Predictor.fi, and these predictions percentages should appear soon on the site as well. Got a bit of team analysis in there. Kasper Schmeichel doesn't really let me go above 90% on this site, which is fair enough. That's just a policy of the site. So yeah, I think he would be like 100% basically, as long as he's not injured, which I don't think he is. Kieran Tierney, I've got 90%. Played well last weekend. Came off. Manager confirmed it was cramp. So yeah, unless there's any news, then I'm fully expecting him to start. Liam Scales, interesting one. So Celtic have now signed Jamai, as they're calling him, because they don't want to call him Pusey. So I put that in the notes at the bottom. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes overall, but obviously just come in like Monday, so I don't see him featuring Aberdeen away after this. The next weekend, Celtic have Falkirk in the Cup. So if Roger's going to give some game time to players, then you'd imagine like JSP, so we call him, Trusty, etc., will get some games then. I don't see Liam Scales being dropped after last weekend because he played pretty well, but I think there's going to be some interesting decisions in the defence like going forward when the games build up. Carter Vickers, again, is best defender at Celtic basically, so if he's fit, he plays. Alistair Johnson was excellent, didn't really have much pre-season, but obviously his minutes were managed because he played the Gold Cup. 100 last weekend, superb. Cal McGregor, again, he is getting on. He's not quite as old as me. But he doesn't play for Scotland or anything anymore. So once we get into sort of later months and there's international breaks and things, he gets a natural break. I'm hoping the manager sees a bit of sense and gives him a bit of a break against teams like Falkirk. No offence to Falkirk, they're an SPFL team now, but you get home game in the Cup, you've got Champions League games coming up, you can't just roll out the same team all the time. Rio Hatate, again, actually played okay, I think, last weekend. Just things didn't really come off for him. He's one of those players, Rio Hatate, so he gets hammered a bit in terms of the midfielder card for possession lost because he tries like more risky passing. Daiz Maeda sort of goes without saying, really, unless any injury news going to play. Adam Ida, I thought, was pretty poor last weekend. The problem just now is that Kenny come on for him, and I don't think that's a natural solution. Shin Yamada's just with the group more recently, so I think Ida will probably start this game, but we'll see how that goes going forward. I think the main call or main decision here is going to be will Engels come back in. I think there's two things. Don't think Nygren played that well last weekend. He scored pretty well on Sorare, but that's because he had a couple of shots on target, etc. Celtic really dominated the ball in that game in 50, and that game's not a big score really from that perspective. So I don't think it was his best game. I don't really see him always playing midfield. So basically, Brendan Rodgers did discuss this and said it was to do with needing that attacking type midfielder against the low block. Now, Aberdeen did play a very low block against Celtic in the Cup final. They got loads of success with that. They played a really low block against Celtic last time. Celtic played against Aberdeen up there as well. It's quite a tight pitch. So he could go similar again, but he was quite complimentary of Engels, and I don't think that Engels is going to sit on the bench for very long. Nygren, for me, is a real attacking midfielder, which means he's not really an all-round midfielder, i.e. there's going to be some games where you just can't really have that luxury. I think he will. I mean, Yang didn't really play very well last weekend either. It's a good possibility he just moves a bit forward, or the formation won't change much, but obviously starting positions and out of possession positions or whatever can be a bit more fluid. I think that Shin Yamada eventually will get in this team. I don't think Celtic will sign another striker now, but I think that Adam Ida probably get a bit of grace, obviously having been there, been settled, scored a reasonable amount of goals last season, but his all-round play was pretty poor. So, anyways, let's get on to doing some team selections. This is hitting me in the face here. We haven't set a lineup, obviously, for competition, and these are boosted at the moment, so obviously $50 instead of $25 would be quite good. That would repay, obviously, some of the buys in terms of the JPL. I'm quite enjoying this in terms of having like a league specific competition, etc. I think that it's been a good move from Sorare, having these things like the streaks. Yeah, I mean, I really like the specials as well, but obviously it's bringing a lot of engagement to everybody, and ultimately I think that that's obviously what Sorare want. So got a couple of Division 2s, which, let's not get into talking about divisions. Let's not get into that. Right, so spreadsheet, I want to see my JPL players, so I'm going to go to my own players, and let's do filter to... I only really have limited JPL at the moment, obviously, apart from the Super Rare team, which you're all probably making a later decision on that. So, in terms of goalkeepers, I usually have them set to, first and foremost, clean sheet percentage, then we'll have a look at defenders. So we've got Tobias Lowell, pretty good clean sheet percentage. Della Valle. Senny Lamans is a sneaky one as well, because it's only 36% at home, but I think that's a pretty good fixture, so I think I'm going to have him high up in my priority list. Standard Liège don't tend to score a lot of goals at home. That's kind of one of the main issues I've got here. I think Antwerp against Leuven, I think I'm going to have to go with Lamans in my first team, just because Leuven, I mean, they look pretty poor against Union Saint-Gilloise. That's how you say it. Probably get absolutely hammered on that pronunciation. Defender wise, there's nothing magic. I do like the looks of Eli Kamara, so that's an interesting one, because I think Anderlecht obviously have probably the best home game, although Matty Smets just put in an absolutely huge amount of A in the last game. Guess it'd probably make more sense to pair him with Lawal, to be honest. So defender wise here, I've got Sadiq as well, so that's kind of interesting. Two Romans get a good home game. Eli Kamara definitely coming into the reckoning. As this one's more of a sort of mix-up team, I don't really mind doing that. We've got the Lord Hans Vanaken. Let's see what Zorgan's expected score. So Zorgan's an interesting one, so I'm not really sure what his role in the team's going to be like. All his A and everything, projections are all probably based on like his last sort of 40 or whatever at the moment. I've got Hans Vanaken as well. I think he should start, really, in all honesty. I've got two Zorgans, so I think what I'll do is I'll put Hans in with Genk. In terms of up front, Balikwisha is one, actually, I think Celtic would quite like to get, although I don't know whether we're going to actually ever get any deals like that done. He has got the highest projected score, so I think I'm going to have to use him. 98 woofed. That's a high score projection. I might actually even take a view and put one of the rares or whatever in, just on the basis that, just on the basis that I've lost the ability to speak there. Flicking between screens. Yeah, I think, like, obviously, I don't really have anything rare wise for JPL, then it might make sense. Obviously, I'm likely going to be picking him for the super rare team. I don't know why I'm getting those Discord. Right, so as this is team one, I think we're going to go with Balikwisha, and he's a natural captain choice as well. I guess there's a bit of an argument for playing in Vanaken. Yes, this last one's going to be kind of interesting. I think I'm probably going to go with Vanaken, actually. Seems pretty strong. I mean, obviously, I like the Genk fixture, but it's away. And we do have a couple of chances at this. I mean, this is one of the things I really like about the streaks. Lord Hands is in hands. You do have more than one chance to actually hit it. I'm not really a big fan of the overall prize pools in Division 2. I'm not going to lie on that. So obviously for Team 2 a little while, Matty Smets has been really, really good. So putting up big A figures, etc., which is quite interesting. Again, I think I'm probably going to be going with Zorgan. We'll see what Carrot Sass's projected score is. I've been quite impressed with him as well. 11 projected A. Guess it makes sense away from home. Cavet's actually a pretty good player as well, one to sort of keep an eye on, so definitely going to be one for one of our teams. But yeah, after Zagan started, I think I've just got to pick him right. Like, we're going to go with Jarnis Stukers in this one, because he takes pens, etc. for Genk, and then we're going a wee bit sort of stagger line, if that makes sense. We're probably going to need a clean sheet in that game, so I think it makes sense to play Sadiq in this team. Captain wise, I'm going to go for Smets. I mean, that score he put in was ridiculous. I quite like the look at that. Obviously, if Genk managed to get a clean sheet, 400 is definitely more than possible there. Let's pick the other teams as well, which get them obviously drafted at the moment. Celtic wise, I'm not going to pick at the moment. Did give away all my Celtic sort of lineups last weekend. I need to be careful what I'm doing now because obviously we've got guys like Team Bambi, etc. there who are buying uniques, etc. So yeah, need to be careful with information given away. Leo Kukubo is an interesting one. I mean, STVV don't really seem to keep many clean sheets, etc. So I think we'll go for Della Valle, I guess, like away against that sort of lower down team. Should get a bit of action in terms of saves, etc. as well. I'm going to filter us to limit to make it too easier because I'm just annoyed about Stella Andrews. Tour Romans home game. Nazinho's been excellent, but obviously he's now playing away at Club Brugge in that fixture, and that's going to be a tough one, right? So I think once we get to this stage, it's going to have to be like Tour Romans at home. Obviously, like Mechelen are a good team, right? But obviously the home and away thing does make a difference as well. In terms of midfield, I think Cavette's probably a good choice there, actually. He's got a pretty reasonable projected score in terms of the sheet. Up front, we've got Stilich's been linked with a move away, so that's going to be an interesting one. And also, Charleroi have been sort of mixing things up in terms of rotating at the weekend. Might take a chance on Florich, actually, if that's how you say his name. What have I done to the sheet? I've broken the sheet. So Ivanovic obviously away, starting for Benfica tonight as well, which was pretty interesting. Let's see what the projected scores for USG are. I mean, Ghent are pretty good team, but obviously they've lost a defender as well, so it's interesting. 1.8 expected team goals, so I think with this, because he doesn't have much of a last 40 or whatever, probably worth taking a wee bit more of a chance on him just now. Again, to Trawi, etc. for Charleroi, like they've all got pretty good games, but I'm not really too sure about the rotation after European games. That's going to be one of the interesting ones. Rafiki Said was quite good last weekend as well. Probably going to put Carrot Sass in here. I just think this guy's just an absolute superstar, honestly. Like, just so good. And I think, obviously, Standard don't always score a lot of goals either at home. He's a midfield card, so you can lose a bit in terms of, obviously, goals conceded. So I've got 3 good teams in there. 3 teams probably will be able to scrape together 1/4 team once we see what the lineup predictions and everything are. But that's got 400 points for $50, so that would give us a good amount back, I think, based on what we've spent on the JPL. Obviously, the aim's going to be getting into Division 1 and then sort of moving on from there. In terms of the streaks, so limited-wise, wasn't really much else to sort of write home about. I think the other one that really sort of stands out here is going to be Contender. So I think I'll probably want to do a bit of selection for that before we wrap things up here. So $440 for $200. So this definitely needs a bit of attention. Obviously, most of my challenger lineups are just going to be Celtic, so that's not really going to be a big surprise in any way. So let's get the spreadsheet set up for. Right, so Contender Rare. This is going to be a real interesting one. Obviously, there's no Celtic in Contender now as well. Not a big surprise here, Kaizuki Osako. So I think it's going to have to be Sanfrecce at home. 47% clean sheet percentage. And obviously the sort of natural solution there is playing Sho Sasaki as well. So we'll pick the first lineup at the very least here. See where we're going to go from there. There's so much choice these days as well, isn't there? Like, there's just so much going on. Like, I want to make sure, one of the mistakes I make sometimes is I don't put enough effort into each individual lineup. So obviously this video is going out on Wednesday, but you can do some drafts and tweak things, etc. I think we've got some division battles and everything this weekend as well. So this is going to be quite a crucial lineup with the $200 boost for $440. So Osako makes a lot of sense. 90% start, so that's very useful as well. Obviously, we've used up that classic slot. The only problem with that is, yeah, I mean, it's going to rule out some of the classic smashers that I own as well. So probably need to do another lineup and just like pick goalkeeper who's in season. Midfield wise, then initial look there, probably going to have to be Lucas Fernandez. So yeah, we've got 79 projected score. Pretty good home fixture, 1.79 expected team goals for them. You see a lot of the other cards I've got there who are expected the big scores. Kazashvili, Canales, Barco, etc. all actually classic cards. So going to have to go with Lucas Fernandez. Forward wise, again, going to have a mate aim Neymar or anything here. He bailed me out last weekend, by the way. I think Daniel Carlsbach's still in season, is he? No, he's out of season now. God damn. That's a shame because he's been a really, really useful card to have. So yeah, I'm going to have to pick somebody in season. That's going to be a bit more difficult actually. It's a shame. Sabag's been scoring quite a lot of goals actually. He's just not really a kind of AA guy or whatever. Yago's obviously moved to China and yeah, he looks pretty good there. There's no two ways about that. I'm probably going to go with Sabag. I think he's just probably the most reliable, to be honest. And then we need to piece somebody in, obviously, with him. Can't play the other Sho Sasaki, unfortunately. Kikuchi's a real interesting one. Kim Ji-sung, actually, I mean, he just moved to Sanfrecce. Like, if I knew he was definitely going to play, then he would just be like an absolute automatic pick. Auto pick, because, like, just he's so good. But he just joined, and after a lot of times I've seen this in Japan where people just join and they just don't really start that early. Let's have a look at the defender ratings. Leonardo Morales sticking out there. So Scott McKenna, don't think so. Big El Donkio. Sugawara now actually now in the contender. That's interesting. So I've got Hatanaka, Martinez Quarter, don't know if he's definitely going to start. Kim Joo-sung, obviously. Yeah, that's a share. I really like to put him in there. What I'm going to do is think I'm going to put him in and then see whether or not I can get any more information whether he's likely to start. Because that's quite strong, right? I mean, if Sanfrecce keep a clean sheet, then, you know, that could definitely hit. You know, Sho Sasaki does a big score, then you're just looking for maybe like a decisive to go over that sort of 440, etc. On to Hoodwink's Heart Attack. Right, we're going to have to pick an in-season goalkeeper, I think, here because, you know, I need to use a classic card probably as a captain pick. Jo Yin Woo, I mean, like, that guy's just been so frustrating this season. I will be using George Brune and Super Rare. I'm not going to drop him down. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to use a Jo Yin Woo. I mean, I think the only saving grace here is that Ulsan have changed manager. So you just got to hope that at some point they just actually have a decent game. Like, you know, is it too much to ask for Ulsan to have a decent game of football, honestly? What's happening with their overall defence? Gonna have to back Kim Won. I mean, you're just gonna have to do it. Like, right, so who we're going to put in with these guys? They're going to have to be a midfield classic smasher or a forward classic smasher. Do we have any of those? Perran's not started yet. I guess I could use Carl's back actually, just because he's not an AA guy or whatever, but he does like obviously bang in quite a few goals. Zeka definitely is one who scores high. Di Maria is interesting as well. Is that a more difficult game because he's on sets and everything? So actually, think I prefer probably to go with Di Maria. It's just obviously a harder away game. Kasper Hoga as well, definitely. Neymar was actually pretty reasonable last game for a change. Decisions. I guess I could go for a midfielder. Yeah, it's got to be Shaqiri, right? The guy is just absolutely unbelievable. I'm so really sorry for putting you in with Ulsan. I do apologise. I'm sorry about that. Jan Matthias is another one who thinks just kind of ready to kind of do something dangerous. Like, yeah, they've really underperformed Yokohama. So this is just a kind of judgment one, right? So Yago, I think, um, playing against Nagado sounds like Zagadou. Zagadou, push pineapple, shake a tree. Anyway, I was definitely doing this video too late. I better shut up now. Yeah, I'm not loving these options up here, honestly. Because like even Makita at home, Vissel Kobe are actually pretty decent. So I'm going to go with Yago, just because Mateus will be a bit lower in percentage there, etc. as well. And then defender wise, Hatanaka has been pretty well. It doesn't have to be a defender, but last slot. Cobium's so annoying this season. Like he only seems to play well when everything's on. He only seems to play well when it doesn't matter. So there we go. That's the kind of Ulsan stack, and then we'll do the R1 as well. I mean, I'm not that confident on these. That's the thing. I might like switch it about a wee bit once I know how likely it is that Kim Joo-sung starts, because like if that batters it up and he doesn't start, then I'm going to be a bit annoyed as well, because that's really kind of my first choice lineup. And again, I think final one we're probably just going to have to pick some in season. I guess like I do really have high XP on Kosai Tane, etc. Kikuchi has been really good, so definitely a man you can get behind just doing something completely like mad. I guess we would probably use the strategy wise be a good idea to pick somebody in midfield who can do a bit of we're trying to get a big score here, and obviously if you've got these sort of AA monster types, then like if you can use that in classic, it's a pretty reasonable idea. I'm just not really that impressed with how Barco started the season, but he's just got such a big like whack of really good scores behind him. So that's interesting. Now we need to get in touch with some Russian expert or whatever on football. Soma's been pretty good at home as well, and then we need an R in season card to pair. Obviously, there's not in percentage yet on Oberdan. We'll see if there's any percentage on the actual spreadsheet. It's just going off site stuff just now. Doesn't have that high a project score. Yeah, I mean 25A actually pretty good. So we'll go for that as a provision. We'll go for a big madman Ryo Kikuchi. And then I'll probably will fill out. I've got to fill out them all actually, haven't I? Because I'm going for 440 here, and like it's a division battle and everything. So we'll just go the whole hog and do every single one of them. Broderson's actually probably, I think he could be quite good under this format, because you don't get the 15 for the -3 goals. So that could help him a bit. Sho Sasaki I'm going to be using a bit further up, obviously, in terms of super rare. Probably go for Leonardo Morales. Midfield wise, I'll probably be using Kubo further up as well. Ko will be using further up. Pretty reasonable home game for Cerezo against Albrecht, so it's not too bad. I'd go with Hatanaka actually. Not Hatanaka. Shunta Tanaka. Talking absolute rubbish. Got a choice forward then actually, so that's pretty interesting. I think Zeka's been the most reliable in terms of high scores. Probably going to go with Di Maria. And then final position, again, and I'll go with Hatanaka there as well. Aye, yeah, that makes sense. Could be a dominant home game. I quite like the Di Maria captain option actually, because he's on everything. He's on like all the sets, on all the penalties and everything. And if that one sneaks over, he gets 100 or whatever, then that's a big dent in the 440. So be an interesting to see how I end up going with that composition, but that's all I think pretty interesting. So we'll cover the main fixtures. Obviously when we get back to EPL coming back and everything, then we can cover off some of the sort of the bigger leagues, top 5 leagues. I'm not picking my Celtic lineups at the moment. I'm going to leave that to a wee bit closer to the deadline and just give it a bit of thought in terms of how I think the game will play out. the Celtic lineups. Let's see if the scores have actually pulled in yet. So, or the percentages, sorry, not the scores. Now I'm on Sorare inside, you will get the percentages on site, but yeah, feel free to watch the channel as well. Feel free to watch the channel. Don't just say, we'll just have a look at the site, bugger. Yeah, it's on the site. Look at that. Look, there we go. Percentages are on the site. Fantastic. Right, we'll wrap it up there. I think that's enough. I'm not going to be doing any more lineups just now. I might do the odd draft, but I want to make sure I've got a bit more sort of certainty in terms of the team and the sort of updated news before the lock. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. I haven't picked any of the sort of giveaways or anything yet in terms of limited lineups, but we will do that, I think, at the weekend. The crafting videos had 3,600 views, which is incredible, and we are building up a good amount of essence. 10k limited, 4 rare and 6 in super rare, so there's going to be a lot of crafting getting done, but I'm going to, I think, hang fire with that until the weekend the EPL's back, and then we can just go for another humongous mega craft video and hopefully give away some nice cards as well. Anyways, if you catch this before Friday, thanks again for watching. If you have any questions on Celtic, feel free to drop me a line. Otherwise, we'll end in customary fashion. Good luck. Go for it.